Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com. On today's Duel Review, The 13th Warrior. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it.
Welcome to Thursday the 15th of September. We are doing 13th Warrior starring Antonio Banderas.
Yes, it was 1999, and it was John McTiernan. And I don't know if you knew this, but it was based on a Michael Crichton book. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, The Eaters of the Dead, I think it's called.
The Eaters of the Dead. Michael Crichton writes a lot that turns into movies.
Yeah, I didn't even actually know that until I researched it.
Sphere is also by Michael Crichton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, stay tuned next week. It's a really good film. I'm still amazed at how good it is. I actually often compare it to Lord of the Rings. I think it's kind of like Lord of the Rings light.
Oh, I compare it more to Beowulf.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So the plot, we start off with Antonio Banderas, who is an Arab Muslim.
It's funny to hear him talk because he's Spanish.
Clearly Spanish, yeah. Long story short, there's a little bit of tidbit, which really is probably a long story made really short, is that he kind of falls in love with the Arab prince's daughter, or I can't remember who exactly it is.
Someone of importance, and then they kick him out to get,
They make him ambassador so he can leave the country
and stay away from the girl.
So he's out ambassadoring, and he comes across a group of raiders that chase him into a group of Norsemen.
Right.
And it's kind of this funny, run away, and then
the Raiders are afraid of the Norse, and then the Norse.
Yeah, the Raiders are afraid of the Norse. And the Norse have made camp. They've just lost their king. So anyway, they kind of take in a very uncomfortable Antonio Banderas and his interpreter, and along the way, or while they're doing the funeral, a boy shows up who is a herald, a messenger from another king, another Norse king, that is being currently attacked by that which shall not be named, but
is named.
And the name is Bendo eventually. So anyway, that which shall not be named needs to be thwarted. And they call in an oracle, and the oracle casts bones, and she says there need 13.
13 warriors.
So in typical, Norse, kind of bravado.
Please don't do the Swedish thing.
Yeah, they do. I'll be the first man. I'll be the second man. And they go through 12.
I'll be the 12th.
And then the oracle says the 13th needs to be not a Norseman. It cannot be a Norseman. And so the only able-bodied person is Antonio Banderas. And so Antonio accepts this quite readily, apparently.
Which you don't like, but...
The only problem I have is, whatever. Let's just pretend there's a scene that was cut out where he struggled with it and then came to terms. So anyway, he leaves his interpreter behind, and he goes off with the Norsemen. Norsemen, make camp, and eventually they end up with the other king. The other king is ill. I won't give too much away there, but they show up at this mead hall that's very Rohan, Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yeah, and you reference Lord of the Rings a lot, but I see more of a connection to Beowulf than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll get to that, of course. Right. So they spend the night in the mead hall. The Bendo, that which shall not be named, but just was, come in with the mist, and so there happens to be a mist that night. Right. They do come in, and the Vikings, get to battle them firsthand. They're very knowledgeable warriors, experienced warriors, so they kill a few. But when everything, dust is settled, there's no bodies, there's no sign. Well,
there's no bodies blood of those who will
Bendo.
not be named, but are Bendo.
Right. And so, some of them are convinced that it's some kind of supernatural thing, but the king's son says blood is real enough, kind of thing. So they verify that this threat is real.
Right.
There's a boy that comes by. He's like running through the woods or the fields.
Right. I think his village was just attacked or something.
Right. And so they go check out the village, and all the bodies have been gnawed upon, as Antonio Banderas' character says. And they're just, brutally murdered and dismembered. And again, no sign, really. They do find out like a fertility god, and so they know it's the Bendo, kind of thing. So anyway, they fortify the positions. A little bit of infighting ensues.
Yep.
And they get ready for another attack. and there is threat from the fire worm.
The fire worm.
Fire worm, which is kind of loosely gives you the impression like a dragon.
Yeah.
Well, Antonio Banderas figures it out with like a dragon. I do not believe in dragons, kind of thing.
He says it just like that too.
But
good interpretation.
Big battle ensues, and this is one of those fun things. It's really graphic. It's kind of like the team assemble thing, which I always am a sucker for. Yeah. And you've got your favorites, and then a couple of them die or whatever, and it's just like, oh, come on, But slowly they get picked off, kind of thing. But there's only 13 to begin with. Anyway, so they're really overwhelmed. Bendo have huge numbers. That which shall not be named have huge numbers, which will not be numbered.
But they will be.
And so the Norsemen are kind of at a loss of what to do.
Right.
So they go to the crazy town. There's like the part of town where they put all
the crazy people.
They're disabled and retarded and crazy. And yeah, and so there's this one lady, another oracle in some regard, who tells them that in order to beat the Bendo, to relieve this terror, you need to kill the mother and cut off the head of kill the lead.
The general.
The general, yeah, right. And so they decide they really have no choice but to take the fight to them. And this whole thing is like, are they spirits? Are they men? Are they animals? And they finally find a claw, and they know that they kind of wear like bear pelts and stuff. Right. And so they say, okay, well, these people are pretending they're bears, so where do bears hide? In the caves, So,
which isn't a great deductive reasoning.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but at the same time, it works for them, I guess.
Yeah, it does work, I guess.
They're finally able to track them.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just taken aback by that.
Much kind of a cop out, maybe.
Yeah, much like the Batman movie with Adam West, where they.
I can't remember that.
Oh man, that was so funny when they're trying to figure out who the protagonists are. It's like, well, it happened at sea. See, so Penguin lives at sea, so Penguin's there. Okay. And then Robin comes in. Wait, the whole thing happened at sea. See, like Catwoman.
Well, it kind of makes sense because I'm sure they embody the spirit of a bear. Whatever.
Yeah.
They have bear pelts and they have bear
that definitely makes more sense than the Adam West Batman movie.
So basically, Antonio Banderas has kind of figured out that they're men. Along the way.
Right.
And so they do find a way to track them. They track them down to their lair, and they infiltrate, and then all hell breaks loose. They make it back to the Rohan-esque mead hall with the king that's ill, and they prepare for one last battle because they've gotten the mother, and so now they're waiting for the general.
The general's gonna come in.
So there's a big final battle. Some heart-wrenching moments possibly.
Yep. Traditional Hollywood.
And it's a really good film. There's a lot of little cultural differences that are fun to watch.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas and the Vikings, and like that big sword that he has. And like, you'll need a weapon, and he gets this huge sword. He's like, I cannot swing this.
He drops it to the floor, and it's like.
So he makes do. He figures it out. And then so Beowulf. There is definitely a lot of similarities.
Yes, the mead hall, where they pretend to be sleeping. Then there's you have to kill the mother, like the mother of Grendel. Then you have to kill the general, who's kind of like Grendel.
Right.
And then even the son of the leader of the Norse guys, whose father had died, and he was the one who was contacted. He's kind of like Beowulf himself, which I always thought was interesting. The legend was built around the character. So.
Yeah, and I was saying that maybe it's kind of like the Japanese legends. There's just this lore, and so there's a lot of properties that are very similar because this lore is so loved.
And I think for what it was, it worked out really well. I mean,
it could be like modern day zombie stories. I don't know. There's a lot of parallels to why it would be so similar.
Well,
it's also kind of, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but it's kind of a real take on Grendel.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Like, if these events had happened in history,
like, what's the real thing?
What's the real way it would have happened?
It wasn't supernatural necessarily, so.
Right. And I completely agree about that. Yeah. The other thing that we both liked was the how they translated, or how
they escaped subtitles.
How they escaped subtitles. Good way of putting it. Basically, while they were camping on their way to.
Shortly after they departed.
Right, and they're heading towards the king who needs help. They start camping out, And Antonio Banderas is sitting there, and they're all speaking Norse, and he doesn't understand a word, but he's trying to learn. So, you you constantly see Antonio Banderas mouthing the words, that they're saying.
Intensely staring, and
right,
they do a couple of repeat cuts, where it kind of makes sense in English a little bit. So
right.
He's picking up the language. He's starting to understand it. Little words pop out in English from the Norse.
Right. So, and that indicates that he's learning them.
Right.
So after a while, he knows he's learned the language for the most part, and he's insulted.
Yeah.
His
mother's insults his mother.
And he comes out with this my mother was a saint, you dirty rotten pig scoundrel.
Yeah, you son of a pig eating whore or something like that. Anyway.
And they kind of build a respect, and I like that because it does avoid the subtitles. Subtitles can be detracting from what you're watching, and to do it that way, like I think you said that it hasn't really been done before. And
I can't think of it. I don't know why, but I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, I haven't really seen it, so it's like.
I think the first time I saw it, to be honest, I was like, well, that's kind of stupid. But then when I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, that's really quite brilliant. Because you get to hear the Norse, first of all, which is wonderful. I love hearing that first little bit of Norse. But yeah, it's just this slow transition and just one scene, one montage. That's really all you need to understand that he's learning the language, and now he understands it. And so because he understands it, we can understand it.
That's absolutely right.
So it would have made maybe more sense if he was an Englishman or something, rather than an Arab, because he's already speaking English as an Arabic-speaking person.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Antonio Banderas can pull off English.
Yeah. Well, he can't pull off Arabic, clearly.
Well, he's kind of that color.
I think this was back in the day when the rumor was, like, he doesn't speak a lick of English. He just repeated what people said to him.
Was that a rumor?
Yeah, totally.
I didn't know that.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever true. Yeah. But it could be. I mean, that's a fun rumor.
So anyway. All right, well, that's 13th Warrior. I definitely say check it out.
I say check it out as
wonderful.
Well. It is a great movie.
And it came out before Lord of the Rings, but like I say, Lord of the Rings Light, it's just a wonderful little tidbit.
Mm-hmm. Although the books came out far before. And
this is actually a pretty good performance.
Although Beowulf came out far before the Lord of the Rings, so I guess this did come first.
Very, very well before that.
Yes.
Okay. See you guys later.
Bye.
Yes!
Oh. First shot. Oh.
You'll be the first man. I'll be the second man.
I'll be the 12th man.
I'll be the loser. Next time, we talk about the Hitman series. On today's Duel review, the 13th Warrior. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it.
He's the 14th Warrior. The 15th? What? 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 Okay.
I refuse to play.
What?
I'm not playing this game.
What game? Why? Do you do the Y game? Why? Why don't you want to play? What was it, Mindy from Are we there yet? Animaniacs? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? I don't know. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? I don't know. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Where are we going? Where are we going? I'm done.
He wins on the annoying. I'm sorry.
I'm good at
I
it.
lose.
Right. Awkward
One more time.
and annoying. Those are my two verbs.
One more time.
Right. No.
One more time.
No, we got it.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, we got it on that one. Then just cut it after all the stupid crap that I got.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. We got 11 minutes. Okay. Are you done yet?
You gonna start that again? All right.